We're going to take a minute and get settled in. Allow yourself to align the spine. Bring your body into an engaged but relaxed position. Notice your breathing and set an intention for your practice. Maybe to find a little more balance in our life today, physically as well as mentally and emotionally. Take a moment. Think about lowering the chin to the chest and stretch the back of the neck a little bit. And breathe. Inhale, lift your head up. Lift your chin above level. And on the exhale, lower the chin down. So we just want to start to flex and extend the spine. Notice where there's any resistance. Be mindful as you're moving not to push through pain or discomfort. Inhale, lift up. Start to draw the shoulders back a bit more. And on the exhale, lower your chin down, round your shoulders forward. So we're moving through flexion and extension. We're not forcing or pushing anything. We're just trying to get the body a little bit more mobile before we go into anything more intense. Now we're going to put our hands forward on our knees and really round out that mid-back and then slide the hands in close to the hip flexors. Elongate the spine by leaning forward. Let your shoulders and elbows press back towards your hips as you lengthen the spine. This will stretch the back of the legs, the glutes a bit. And then we're going to put our hands down in front and possibly come all the way down onto our forearms. So just a gentle forward fold. Again, we're trying to keep the spine long and straight, not tense up anything. It will add a little gentle compression to the abdomen. And then we're going to press into the hands, walk the hands back in. We're going to turn our palms up. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. And on the exhale, interlace your fingers. Inhale, press your palms up. And on the exhale, allow your arms to extend out. Release the palms down beside you. Lean into your right arm, extend the left arm up. We want to open up some space in the side body. Maybe put your hand on your temple. Keep this lateral flexion pretty gentle, or slide that right hand out and go a bit deeper if you like. And breathe. Now inhale, we're going to come back up. Left hand comes down. We'll lift that right arm up. Again, we can place a hand on the temple and let the side body stretch be gentle, or slide our hand out and go deeper if you like. And breathe. Once again, we inhale, come back up, and exhale and release. Now we are going to go ahead and slide the right hand behind us, bring your left hand to your right knee, come into a seated spinal twist. Let your neck be neutral and in alignment with your shoulders. You can let the hand rest on the knee or even slide it in closer to your hip if you prefer, but mainly focus the twist in the mid-chest to tailbone. And breathe. And then we're going to go ahead and come back to center, bring our left hand behind, bring your right hand to your left leg, and let's go ahead and twist gently in the opposite direction. Come back to center. Let's go ahead and come to a tabletop position. Let your wrists be directly under your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're going to engage the spine, looking at the mat. So take a moment and just come into neutral. And then we're going to take the right leg back. Tuck your toes, level your hips out, press through the heel. You can extend your left arm, thumb toward the ceiling, spinal balance. You might decide to lift that right leg up. Press through the heel, reach through the fingertips. So before we get into more engaged balancing poses, this is a good one to do. You're close to the floor, not as far to fall. And then put that left hand down, take your right leg, cross over your left, tuck your toes. That's going to stretch your right hip. You can look over your left shoulder at your right foot. Notice how that feels. Lateral flexion of the spine, nice hip stretch here. And then bring that right leg back to center, and we're going to step the right leg forward and through. So as we do this, we want the knee over the ankle, left hand across from the right foot, right hand on your right knee. Turn your torso toward the right. You can lift your right arm up, stack it over the left, modify twisted low lunge. You might decide to tuck your toes on your left leg, come off your left kneecap. And breathe. And then put your right hand down on your right knee. Set the left knee down. And we're going to lift our torso up over that left hip. Again, this can be a little bit challenging for the balance as well. So torso stacked over the left hip. Adjust your right foot so that you feel stable. You can take it a bit wider and maybe bring it in closer to you. Let your arms relax. Let's lift our arms up overhead, palms facing each other. Shoulders can stay relaxed. You might decide to interlace those fingers and extend the arms up a little higher. Draw the arms back behind you, opening across the chest. If you keep your gaze forward, it's more stable. If you want to challenge your balance, look up toward the ceiling. Reach back, open through the heart. You're going to get a really good stretch to your left hip flexor through the front of the torso. And on the exhale, let's lower those arms down. Separate the hands, interlace your fingers behind you. Let's drop the shoulders down a bit. So this is going to stretch across the chest. Maybe we hinge forward to a flat back here. We want to bring that right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Lift your arms up overhead, humble warrior, and breathe. And then we're going to release those hands down on the inside of that right foot and ease our hips back and forward. So move your hips, your knees, your ankles, hamstrings, and quadriceps. And then we're going to go ahead and come back to center. Bring that right knee back to meet the left. And once again, we're back to tabletop. Extend your left leg back. Tuck your toes. Level your hips out. Keep your gaze on the mat. Extend your right arm, thumb toward the ceiling. You might lift that left leg up. Press through the heel. Reach to the fingertips. And breathe. Now, set that right hand down, let the left leg cross over, tuck your toes on the outside of the body, possibly look over your right shoulder at your left foot. Lateral flexion of your spine. And then let's bring that left leg back to center. Step the left leg forward and through. Place your right hand across on the left foot, left hand on the left knee, turn your torso. Decide if you want to stay here or lift that left arm up, stack it over the right. Maybe tuck the toes on the right leg, come off the kneecap for a deeper stretch in the back of that leg. And breathe. And then set the left hand down on the left knee. Gently set your right knee down. And as we press into that left knee, we're coming up again. And again, this can challenge your balance quite a bit. Left leg, we want to maybe bring it in a little closer, widen the stance a bit, let your arms relax. Get your stability here before we move on to something more. We can lift the arms up overhead, palms facing each other. Shoulders stay relaxed. You might interlace the fingers. You can draw the arms back behind you. Keep your gaze forward again for stability. Good shoulder stretch as well. Now, if you want to challenge your balance again, we can decide to look up toward the ceiling. Reach through those fingertips. Open through the heart center a bit more. Right hip flexor stretch as well. And then we're going to come back to center. Exhale, lower the arms down. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Let your shoulders drop down. We can stay here, or once again, you might hinge forward. Keep looking forward. Just think about the left shoulder coming to the inside of that left knee. Lift the arms up, humble warrior. And breathe. And then we're going to go ahead and release the hands down. So put that left knee back to meet the right, and we'll ease our hips back toward our heels, stack our hands underneath our head for a moment. Child's pose, a good place to take a time out. Also going to be good for encouraging digestion, compression in the joints, knees, and hips. I'm going to place our hands on the mat, walk our hands in closer to our knees, lift up your hips, tuck your toes. Let's rock back toward our heels. And then we're going to come up to standing. So we'll do some standing balancing today. Let's start out with the simple standing mountain pose, feet 1 to 2 fists width apart, soft bend in your knees. Establish a connection with the base of the body. We want to draw our energy up from our pelvic floor toward our solar plexus. Turn your palms forward, lift up through the crown of the head. So allow yourself to feel your sense in space, feel and sense your body in space and time here. So we're engaged, fully engaged, and we want to notice where our toes are. Rock forward to your toes and then back to your heels, and we center over the inner arches. Not really a balancing pose, but you really want to establish a good base before you start to balance here. We might take our arms out to the side slowly. Lift the arms up overhead, palms facing one another. You can bring the palms together, exhale, hands right down through the center of the chest. Thumb knuckles rest on your sternum. We want to find that acupressure point that's in the center of our chest on the sternum. It might feel like an indentation and it might feel a little tender. So letting your thumb knuckles rest against that helps to calm anxiety, and it does boost your immune system. Shoulders down and back. Allow yourself to shift from right to left. So if you're on a mat, if you're on any cushy surface, it's a little more challenging to your balance, but we just want to move from side to side, maintaining that awareness of where our center is. That's very helpful for balancing. Now, when we shift to that right foot, let's stay there. Turn your left foot out. The foot can stay down. You might decide to put your heel against your ankle. Put the sole of the foot on the calf. As you can see, my balance isn't good. I usually keep my toe down. You could put the foot on the calf or even take it above the knee toward the thigh. Pick a point in front of you that's not moving and breathe. If you have good peripheral vision, that can sometimes challenge your balance. Let's lift our arms up overhead. Open your hands out. So every time we move, we're moving our perceived center of gravity. Now let's bring those hands back together. Exhale, hands to the heart. Release that left foot to meet the right. Once again, we come back to center, reestablish yourself in space and time. Shift to the left foot, turn your right foot out, breathe. Just notice how it feels. Pick a point to focus on that's not moving. Heel to the ankle, sole of the foot to the calf, above the knee or in front of the thigh. And lift your arms up overhead again. Breathe. You might open your hands out. And notice you're probably not going to stay completely still when you come into a pose like this. There might be some shifting and moving. Just keep breathing and staying focused. Bring the hands back to center. Exhale, hands down to the heart. And then release that foot. Now we're going to do some warrior series. Let's do the wide-legged warrior series. Take your feet wider than your hips. And we want our feet to be facing forward toward the side of the mat. Let your hands rest on your hips. And now lift the toes of the left foot up. Turn your left foot to the end of the mat. Now notice when you do this how it feels. You might bend your knee. If you bend your knee, try not to take it past the ankle. That compromises the knee and the ankle. So directly over the ankle is better. Extend your arms out at shoulder height, palms down. Look down the center of that left arm off into the distance. Relax your shoulders, breathe. So depending, like I said, on the surface that you're on, I actually have a rug and a mat underneath, so this is a little bit more wobbly for me. So notice, if your surface is not as solid, that might challenge your balance a bit more. And breathe. Now, turn that left palm up, lift it up toward the ceiling, lightly touch the back leg. This is exalted warrior, it's a lateral flexion of your spine. And notice where you turn your gaze. Where do you need to have your gaze to feel more stable? And breathe. Generally not looking at the screen, but actually find a point around you that's just still. And then let's come back to our warrior two again. Now put your right hand on your right hip, straighten your left leg, extend out over that leg. Let your hand connect with your shin, maybe the back of the hand or the fingertips. Draw your right shoulder back. Lift your right arm up, stack it over your left. Triangle pose. Again, this one's going to challenge your balance quite a bit. And breathe. Now rebend that left knee. Let's come back to warrior two. And then bring your hands to your hips. We're going to turn that foot in. And now turn the right foot to the end of the mat. Bend your knee. Again, drop down equally between both legs. Extend arms out at shoulder height, palms down. Look down the center of the right arm this time. Again, look off to the distance. Breathe. Turn the right palm up. Lift the right hand toward the ceiling. Lightly touch the back leg. Exalted warrior. And breathe. Nice lateral flexion of the spine. Again, where you put your gaze is going to be helpful for your balance. So make sure it's something stable. Inhale. And on the exhale, back to your warrior two. This time place your left hand on your left hip. Straighten your right leg. Reach out over the right leg. Fingertips connect with the shin. Draw your left shoulder back. Lift your left arm up. Stack it over your right. And breathe. Now rebend that right knee. Extend your arms out at shoulder height again. Let's bring our hands to our hips. Turn both feet forward. And we might hinge forward to a flat back. Hinge at your hip flexors. Hands on the hips at this point. You can take your arms out to shoulder height. You can shift forward into the base of your toes and back to your heels. Maybe put your fingertips down in front of you. You can walk the hands a bit further forward. Inner thigh stretch, back of the leg stretch here. And breathe. Maybe put your palms down. Now bring your hands to your hips again. Inhale, lift your head up. We're going to heel toe our feet together. And let's come back down on the floor. So we had a little bit of balancing from all fours, some balancing, standing. Let's go ahead and take a minute and just allow ourselves to come back into a comfortable upright position. Let's keep the right leg forward and the left leg back. Bring your hands to either side of that knee. And on the exhale, bend your elbows and lower down. It's going to add some compression to your abdomen, thigh, and hip. Keep your elbows in close as you inhale. Lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, bend your elbows and lower down. And inhale, lifting up. Some somatic yoga here. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower down. And inhale, lift up. Now we're already in a twist. We can take our hands to the outside of that knee. We could actually walk them all the way back toward the hip if you like. So take the twist that feels right for your body and then fold over that leg. Come down into your forearms and breathe. So as you fold over the leg, notice how this feels. It's a deep twist and deep compression. Calming forward fold. We'll walk our hands back in and you might place that hand behind your hip. Maybe lift your hips up and possibly reach that opposite arm up and over. Stretch to the front of the body and then let's lower our hips back down. Let's extend this opposite leg out now. And we're going to place our hands in front of the ankle and lean forward. Bend your elbows. Walk your hands out if you like. As you do, notice how your back feels in this extended leg. Maybe check in with your shoulders and neck as well. So we're taking a forward fold and we're noticing if our body resists at a certain point. We don't want to push past that resistance. Instead, we want to let our body relax. And when it's ready, maybe you can go a bit further forward. Take your hands to your extended leg. Let's fold over this extended leg. Hands can be on your thigh, maybe slide them down to the ankle. Now this leg is getting the focus of the stretch, but your opposite hip might be letting go of some tension too. So allow yourself to notice that and breathe. And then we're going to walk those hands back in. We'll bring this left leg forward. We can put that foot on the knee on the foot, or we might even opt for shoelace, knee on top of knee. Once you choose the leg position, let's take our arms out to shoulder height and bring the right arm over the left. Give yourself a big hug here. Stretch the muscles across the upper back, shorten the muscles in the chest. Drop your chin, round forward or fold forward. Now, when we come into this, it's more calming. It's a deep stretch in shoulders and hips. Some good compression in the abdomen as well, so good for digestion. Now, inhale, we're going to lift back up, and on the exhale, unwind our arms, extend them all the way out, and then release your hands down beside your hips. You can slide them back behind you. Notice how this feels. You can lower the chin to the chest and stretch the back of the neck a little bit more. And this might be where we want to stay, but maybe you make 3 somatic neck circles. If so, slowly turn your head to the right, look out over the right shoulder, lift your head up from the shoulder, bring the head to center, turn in the opposite direction and lower the chin back down. So maybe we make a couple more circles in this direction. Be gentle with yourself. Notice how it feels. No forcing or pushing, and breathe. One final circle. And once your head comes back to center this time, let's pause. Lift our head up, release our arms. Let's bring the opposite leg forward this time. Other leg comes back, one hand on either side of this knee. And on the exhale, bend your elbows and lower down. Take your time. Inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Notice that you can use your arms as much or as little as you like. You can keep the forward folding gentle, or you can go as far down toward the floor as you like. So allow yourself to modify things to suit what you need. One more time, exhale, bend your elbows, lower down. And inhale, lifting up, and then decide if you want a bit more of a twist. If so, take the hands to the outside of the knee, possibly walk them all the way back toward the hip. We can fold over the leg, come down onto the forearms, and breathe. Very calming. And then walk the hands back in. Again, you might press into the mat behind your hip. Maybe you decide to lift the hips, reach the opposite arm up and over, stretch to the front of the body. And then we're going to lower the hips back down. Let's extend the right leg out, keep the left leg centered, hands in front of the ankle, lean forward, and walk your hands out until you meet some resistance. Again, notice when your body resists, it doesn't mean it's as far as you can go. It just means you want to take a pause. Once you do, it's probably possible that you can take the arms a little bit further forward, but know that we don't have to force it. And then walk your hands over to the extended leg. Hands can just rest on the thigh. You can slide them all the way down toward that ankle. Then breathe. I'm going to walk those hands back in again. Let's bring that right leg in front. Come into square or shoelace, your choice. Arms out, shoulder height, left arm over the right. Give yourself another big hug here. Again, notice how this feels in the upper back, the chest, the shoulders. Stay upright or drop your chin. Round forward or fold forward if you choose. Allow yourself to breathe and relax here. Now inhale. Let's come back up to center, and on the exhale, unwind the arms. Extend them all the way out. Once again, we release the hands down beside the hips, possibly slide our hands behind us. Point the fingers away from the front of the body. Lower your chin to your chest if you like. Just a bit of a stretch in the back of the neck, or decide if you want to make 3 neck circles in the opposite direction. Again, we want to move slowly. We don't want to push you any pain or discomfort. Take your time and explore how this feels. If you find some discomfort, ease off of it, or decide you don't need to make the circles today. Pushing our bodies through pain or discomfort, if we absolutely have to for some reason, we do that. But for yoga, we don't want to force our body through discomfort. That just sets up a battle in our body, and we want to be mindful and notice what our body actually needs today. When your chin comes back to the center this time, let's pause. Lift the head up. Now we're going to go ahead and come into a seated staff pose. Seated staff pose, not very exciting, not necessarily a balancing challenge, but with the legs extended out, we want to bring our awareness to the base of the body and try to pull your energy up off the floor. We're not going to levitate today, but that would be where we'd like to go if we could, lifting the hips up, and then let your hands relax here. You can draw your toes towards you, sit tall, shoulders drop down. Seated staff pose, not very exciting, but it will help build core strength from above your knees to your rib cage. Allow yourself just to sit up tall and breathe. Now we're going to go ahead and bring our right knee in toward our chest. We can let the right leg cross over the left if you like. Left leg can stay straight, or if you want to bend the knee and bring it into your hip, you can. Now put the left hand on top of the right knee. Let's sit up nice and tall. Elongate the spine. Look at your right shoulder and maybe put your right hand behind you. That extended leg, you can have your leg fully relaxed, or you can draw the toes towards you. So we're coming into a seated spinal twist. The hand that's resting on top of that knee, you can pull the knee in, or you can just let that leg relax. So there's subtle nuances you can add to these poses. Just give yourself permission not to force or push into anything that feels uncomfortable today. Allow yourself to know your limits. Some things we might be doing intensely, and other things we want to be a bit more gentle. And then let's come back to center, bring our right hand to our right ankle, and let's twist in the opposite direction. Now, let's come back to center, re-extend the right leg. Let's bring the left knee in, keep it on the inside or let it cross over. Keep your right leg extended or bring it in towards your hip. Put your right hand on the left knee. Again, we're going to sit tall, place our left hand behind us. The right hand can pull that left knee in or let it relax. You could wrap it around the knee if you like, but find out what feels right to you and breathe. And then we're going to come back to center, and on the exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Now, we're going to come back to center, and we're also going to try another balancing challenge here. So place your feet on the mat, wrap your hands around your shins, and you might rock back and balance on your hips. So this is a good place to start. Now maybe you decide to slide the hands right behind the knees. You could do that. Maybe extend your legs out partially. You could extend your arms as well. Now this gets into the core strength as well as the balance. Bow pose. And then go ahead and set those feet down. Wrap your hands around your shins, sit up nice and tall again. Now we might take this into a wide-legged boat. So we might reach through and grab a hold of our big toes. We can rock back, balance. Maybe we just hang out here. We could extend those legs out in front, or we might take our legs wide into a wide-legged boat. And breathe. Definitely a balance challenge. I might capsize. You never know. We bend the knees. Let's bring those feet together. Let our knees drop open and come into external rotation of our thighs. Now, I have the feet in pretty close to me. You can adjust and move the feet further away. Depending on how it feels in your hips, and you might rock a little side to side. Let's put our hands behind our hips, press into the mat behind you, take some of the pressure out of the low back and hips, and then let yourself come back into this. Just a slight bit more comfortable in the hips possibly. Put your hands at your ankles if you like, sit up tall. This is a great pose just as it is because it's stretching the inner thighs. It is creating a little bit of passive stress in the hips where the connective tissue is. Allow yourself to notice where you want to have those hands. Having the hands behind allows you to press into the mat a little bit more, lift up. And my knees will generally drop open easier when I take some of the pressure out of the base of the hips. So it's a very subtle difference when you try these poses, but allow yourself to experiment with it. Notice the small change and how that affects the feel of this for you. And breathe. Now from here, we might decide to hinge forward. So you can have your hands at your ankles if you like. You might lead with the crown of the head forward. You could walk your hands out. And what we're doing is we're finding a little bit more of a stretch. And when you get to that place, give yourself permission, the place that feels like, okay, that feels good enough right now. It isn't as far as you necessarily can go. When we first meet that resistance again, we want to always notice that and don't force. Let your body relax. And then if you want to go a bit further forward, you can. Relax your shoulders, breathe. I'm going to walk those hands back in. We might take and extend both legs out. And just come into a comfortable wide-legged stretch here. We can place our hands in front. Again, we can lean forward, walk our hands out. Let the body relax. So this is a pretty good stretch as it is, and I've not engaged my legs much at all. I just extended them, and the muscles are all in a softened position. And you just find that place where you feel a bit of a stretch. Let yourself relax there. Maybe come down onto your forearms and breathe. And I'm going to walk those hands back in. Now you could draw your toes towards you. When you draw your toes towards you, notice how the back of the legs feel. You're engaging your legs more fully. Your shins, the tops of the thighs are engaged. You can point and flex the feet a little bit if you just need to stretch the muscles in your legs. And breathe. Maybe circle your ankles a few times. Maybe back in the other direction as well. Now, let's go ahead and come back into an easy seated position. Allow yourself to just notice how this feels. We've done a lot of stuff in rapid succession here, so I want you to check in and notice what we need at this point. Now from here, let's go ahead and come onto our side. We're going to do our hip, somatic hip series. We want to rest on that left arm. Let your knees be bent in a 90-degree angle. Now use this top hand to stabilize you if you like. So from here, we want our knees stacked on top of each other, the feet on top of each other. Bring your attention into your side body, and we're going to try bringing this top shoulder toward our ear, and then move that hip as far away from the shoulder as you can. It's subtle and it's not easy to see on TV. And then draw your shoulder towards your hip, or your computer, I should say. Inhale, bring the shoulder away from your ear, towards your ear, and your hip away from your shoulder, and then draw the shoulder and hip toward each other. One more time, lengthen the side body, and on the exhale, shorten the side body. Now, we're going to come back to our neutral position. And from here, we're going to keep our feet together and inhale, open your knees apart. Notice how your hips feel. And on the exhale, bring the knees together. Inhale, knees apart. Somatic movement in the hips. Exhale, knees together. Once again, inhale, knees apart. And exhale, knees together. Now keep your knees together. Inhale, open your feet apart. Exhale, together. Inhale, feet apart. Exhale, together. Once again, inhale, feet apart. And exhale, feet together. Now let's do a set of alternating. Inhale, knees apart. Exhale, knees together. Inhale, feet apart. Exhale, together. Inhale, knees. Exhale. Inhale, feet. And exhale. Now take your legs down to the end of the mat. Lift the top leg about a foot or so off the bottom leg. Use this hand to stabilize you. Flex that foot. This is inhale. And on the exhale, let that knee draw towards your shoulder. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, knee toward the shoulder. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, knee toward the shoulder. Now, when that knee comes in toward the shoulder, you might extend that leg up toward the ceiling. So this brings you into a little bit of a balance challenge. You have this hand here for stability. You could reach for that big toe though and press up through the sole of the foot. Now this does create a unique balance challenge on your side. And breathe. Now release that foot, bring the knee in towards your shoulder. Inhale, extend it all the way down. And on the exhale, turn your toes down toward the floor. Inhale, turn your toes up toward the ceiling. Exhale, toes turn down. Inhale, toes turn up. Once more, exhale down. And inhale up. Lower that leg. And now we'll flip around to the other side. Let your head rest on your arm. Bend your knees to a 90-degree angle. Let your hand be here to stabilize you. Now, once again, try to bring that shoulder up by your ear and move your hip away from your shoulder. It's a small, subtle movement. It's hard to see. Exhale, shoulder toward the hip, and you can lift your head if you need to. Inhale, lengthen the side body, and exhale, shorten it. Once again, inhale, and once more, exhale. Now come back to neutral. And then from here, we're going to keep our feet together. Inhale, open your knees apart. Exhale, knees together. So you want your movement to be slow and smooth so that we're really focused on how this feels in the hips. Inhale and exhale. Once more, inhale. And once more, exhale. Now keep the knees together this time. Inhale, feet apart. Exhale, feet together. Inhale, feet apart. Exhale, together. Once more, inhale, feet apart. And exhale, feet together. Now we'll do a set of alternating. Inhale, knees apart. Exhale, together. Inhale, feet apart. Exhale, together. Inhale, knees. Exhale. Inhale, feet. And exhale. Now let's extend our legs down to the end of the mat. Lift that top leg about a foot or so off the bottom leg with the foot flexed. And on the exhale, draw the knee toward your shoulder. Inhale and straighten. Exhale, knee toward the shoulder. Inhale and straighten. And exhale, knee toward the shoulder. As the knee comes in this time, if you'd like to extend it up, you can. Again, you can reach for that big toe. And it's going to be a bit of a challenge. It gets a little wobbly here. Now, rebend that knee, bring it in close to the shoulder. Extend that leg all the way down. Keep it lifted. And on the exhale, turn your toes down toward the floor. Inhale, turn the toes up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Lower that leg. And now Let's come onto our back for supine positions. Place your feet on the mat, ease your hips towards your heels. Slowly lower down to the floor. Now let's take a minute and get really comfortable here. Bring your feet in closer or further away. Once you get your feet situated, lift your hips, let your sacrum be more comfortable. The arch of the back, the space between the shoulder blades, your neck. Hands can be on the body or away from the body. Let your shoulder blades relax a bit more too. And take a moment and just breathe. Let your knees sway side to side a bit. Allow yourself to notice how this feels. Just a small movement, or it can be more expansive if you choose. You're rocking across your sacrum. You're actually moving your rib cage, waist, hips, knees, and ankles. Just a good way to get the body to start to relax a bit more and breathe. Now we're going to do this one more time on each side, and then we're going to meet back in the center. Let's walk our feet in nice and close to each other, and let your knees shift over to the right. Then extend your left arm out and look towards your left hand. So this is going to allow you to twist your spine from the base of your skull to your tailbone. So it sounds pretty dramatic, but it should be fairly relaxed and gentle. If you notice, if you're holding some tension somewhere in your body once you come into this, we want to see if we can let go of some of that. Make this a little less intense. Make it less formal. Allow yourself to feel more comfortable and breathe. So even in a gentle way, twisting your spine from the base of the skull to the tailbone is really good for the nerves and muscles in the back, your balance, and digestion. Now let's bring the knees back to center, and on the exhale, let your knees shift to the left, extend your right arm out and look towards your right hand this time. Same thing, we want to be as relaxed as possible, so notice where you're holding tension and see if you can let go of some of it, and breathe. Now let's let the knees come back to center. And we're going to make sure that the feet are just about hip distance apart here. And what we're going to do is allow ourselves to tuck the tailbone up and press the arch of the back down. So it's a very subtle movement, tucking the tailbone up. Your palms can rest down beside you. And on the exhale, let your hips relax and release. So we're going to keep this nice and gentle to start. Press the arch of the back down. Tailbone tilts up. Inhale. And on the exhale, relax and release. So this is a very small, subtle movement. It's going to help build some core strength and ease back tension. Again, inhale, press the arch of the back down, tuck the tailbone up, and on the exhale, relax and release. Now from here, we're going to take this a little bit more intensely. So on the inhale, as you tuck the tailbone up, you might decide to lift the hips up off the mat. And on the exhale, slowly and gradually release your back down, and then let the arch of the back come back in. So we're doing bridge pose here. Inhale, tuck the tailbone up, lift your hips up off the mat. And on the exhale, slowly, gradually release your spine back down, and then let the arch of the back come back in again. Once more, inhale, tuck the tailbone up, lift the hips up off the mat, and exhale. Slowly, gradually release the spine back down to neutral. So bridge pose is a great way to build some core strength. We're only doing 3 repetitions of this, but if you choose to do a few extra, allow yourself to build slowly and gradually. You really want to get the technique in so that you can really fully engage the spine. We'll do it one more time. We want to allow ourselves to press into the soles of the feet, tuck the tailbone up, press the arch of the back down. Your palms are resting on the mat, and then you can slowly and gradually lift the pelvis up. And on the exhale, Release the spine like one vertebrae at a time back down to the mat until your hips come down, and let the arch of the back come in. And so it's a good way to start to build that core strength. And then from here, we're going to put our right foot on top of that left knee. So supine pigeon, let that knee bounce if you like. It's going to open your hip out a bit. Now, if this is fine, you can stay with this. If you want something more, bring that left knee into your chest. Wrap your hand around that left shin. That's going to deepen the stretch in your right hip quite a bit. If it's too much, just take your hands away and breathe. Now, you could extend the left leg up toward the ceiling. Interlace your fingers behind the back of that knee and breathe. Draw the leg closer. You might even reach for that left big toe with your right hand if you need an even deeper stretch. So there's a lot of ways to modify this to make it more or less intense. And breathe. Now rebend that left knee. Place the foot down. Slide your right knee over on top of your left knee. That creates an internal rotation of your thighs, and it is going to target your right hip. Deepen the right hip, the piriformis. So if we get this far and this feels like enough, you might choose to stay here. If you want to stretch the piriformis a bit more, you might drop the knees to the left and extend your right arm out. So we're back in another supine spinal twist, only this one's more intense in the hip, the shoulder, and through the torso, more of a twist. So notice how it feels. If you get this far and you hate it, uncross your knees, and that'll significantly decrease the intensity of it. And breathe. Now, let's go ahead and bring the knees back to center. Exhale, uncross the knees. And then take this left foot, put it on top of your right knee. Again, supine pigeon. It can be low-key, gentle, bounce the knee a little bit to open the hip. Remember that I like to give you modifications so that you can respond to how your body's feeling in a particular day. Some days we have some more resistance in our body than others, so we don't always have to be intense about things. Again, if you want to bring this right leg up off the mat, you can. Wrap your hand around that right shin. That's going to be a lot more intense in that left hip. You might decide to straighten the right leg, get a nice stretch in the leg. Reach for that right big toe with the left hand if you like. Much deeper stretch in the extended leg. And breathe. Now rebend the right knee. Let's set the right foot down. Cross the left knee over on top of the right knee. Now when you do that, check in with your left hip. We might decide to drop those knees to the right. Extend that left arm out. Look toward that left hand. And once again, if it's too intense, you can always uncross the knees. Beginning to learn to allow yourself to modify when something feels like too much. When we continue to ignore the signals our body's sending us, it generally will amp up the resistance a little bit more. So we want to be able to respond to what we're experiencing rather than just try to push through. We're going to come back to center and uncross those knees. And we might bring both knees into the chest this time. Rock a little bit across the low back. Add a little compression to our abdomen. Now you might go ahead and widen the knees, take the pressure off the abdomen, but continue to press against the shins to ease some back tension. And slide our hands down toward the ankles. This is going to bring us into a moderate supine butterfly. So just knees opened out a little bit. You could choose to interlace those fingers, wrap them around the feet, press your knees open even more. That's going to give you a much deeper stretch in the inner thighs. And breathe. Now we might go ahead and reach for the edges of the feet. You can lift the soles of the feet up toward the ceiling. Now we're happy baby. So with your hands on the edges of the feet like this and drawing the knees down toward the floor, it's a much deeper stretch in the thighs. A lot more compression in the hips. You can hang out here, or you can rock a little bit from knee to knee here. Again, a little bit of a balance challenge, but we don't have far to go. So this gives us a little bit of fun along with a balance challenge. Now, maybe you decide to loop your fingers around the big toes, index and middle fingers. You can start to straighten both legs out. Supine wide-legged pose. You can draw your toes toward the crown of the head. It's a great stretch for the inner thighs and the back of the legs. And you can rock side to side here again. Again, it's not much of a balance challenge, but it does bring you out of balance, so it helps you to establish a sense of balance. And then those legs overhead. Keep your fingers around the big toes, or maybe just slide them down and let your arms relax and focus on the stretch in the legs. So, legs up the wall, our inversion. If you're into headstands and shoulder stands, I applaud you. Feel free to do those. But honestly, legs up the wall gives you all the benefits of any other inversion without any of the risks. It is going to improve the circulation in your legs. It'll strengthen your heart and digestive system, and it does reduce anxiety and insomnia. So if you want to just look at your toes, you can, or you could have your eyes closed. You could use an actual wall if you like. You might decide you need more leg stretching, and that's okay too. Point and flex the feet. Breathe. Circle your ankles a few times if you need a little bit more release of tension there. Back in the other direction. Maybe one last chance to really press up through the soles of the feet, press your low back into the mat. Whether you use an actual wall, if you do this at night with your legs up the headboard or something before you go to sleep, this is a really good thing to incorporate into your daily practice. Now, let's go ahead and bend your knees. We're going to slide our feet to the end of the mat. You can reach your arms overhead and stretch out from fingertips to toes if you like. We want to get that last bit of stretching in. Maybe you stretch each side separately. You can shake your legs and arms out if you like. We want to just disperse any last bit of energy before we come into stillness. As you come into stillness, choose the pose that feels right for you. You can be in Shavasana, you can be in child's pose, maybe even crocodile pose. Allow yourself to consider what feels best for you at this time. We want to take the time to turn the attention inward. Again, yoga is not about the poses. It's not about what we do. It's about how we're being. We want to be able to translate that into our everyday experiences, into the times when we're stressed, but also the times we're relaxed. So allow ourselves to notice, are we fully present in the moment? Is our mind somewhere else altogether? Now, we're not always going to be able to be fully present in every experience. But the goal is to spend more time being in the moment, being truly where we're at the time, whether it's an active experience or it's resting. So that's why final relaxation or Shavasana is so important. Paying attention to whatever's calling your awareness at this time. It might be your physical sensations. Notice anywhere in the body that might be calling your attention. Is it some muscles that we stretch too much, or areas of the body that feel like we were neglecting them today? Could be places where we have some chronic discomfort. It could also be some places just strangely wanting our attention. Give yourself permission to notice the signals your body's sending you. Whether you're resting in stillness or you're moving about your day. We want to be able to acknowledge what we're experiencing, not ignore it, but also not to obsess over it or create a story around it. If our body's just exhausted, the answer might be we need more rest. Allow yourself to notice your breathing. Does it feel erratic? Is it hard to get it to be steady and rhythmic right now? Maybe we don't breathe as deeply as we'd like. Just allow yourself to notice your breathing. Again, we don't need to create a story around it. We just want to observe it the way it is, pay attention to it, and generally the breathing will start to regulate itself. So allow yourself to notice. If we can just pay attention to it long enough to help it get back into a more steady rhythm. Allow yourself to also notice your busy mind. Sometimes it feels like our brain never takes a rest. We might be constantly planning our next project, or we're reviewing the experiences of the day. Maybe there's something specific that we just can't let go of. Maybe there's just a whole bunch of busy things running through our mind that don't even really need to be attended to all the time. That's normal. It's a human brain. But when we begin to realize that we don't actually have to pay attention to every thought that runs through our mind, that we can actually just take a step back and notice that our mind's constantly thinking, that it's okay to just be exactly as we are and not grab onto every thought that comes our way. That's challenging. Allow yourself to notice what it is that's calling your attention at this time. We give ourselves permission right now to just be the observer of whatever it is. An emotion, a thought, a physical sensation, our breathing, our to-do lists. We give ourselves permission to just be for a little while, just be exactly as we are, so that we can begin to remember that we're enough right now. We don't have to fix or change a thing. It's enough for us to just be. The whole point of yoga is not the doing, it's being. It's quieting the fluctuations of the mind. I love that definition of yoga. When I first heard it, I wanted to have that. That's the point. Quiet the fluctuations of the mind for a few moments so that we can know we're enough. Now, when it feels right to you, allow yourself to begin to move again. Wiggle your fingers or toes. You can stretch. Take the time slowly and gradually make your way back up to a more comfortable upright seated posture. Choose a mudra if you like. I'm using Hakini today. It's all the fingertips touching and creating a small circle with your hands. Great for calming stress or anxiety. Allow yourself to consider your practice tonight. Allow yourself to notice what you liked, what you didn't like, what was easy, challenging, or frustrating. I want to thank you all for sharing your practice with me. I honor the place in you, which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. From my heart to yours, namaste.